Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with these guys.
Dave.
Ryan.
And today we're going to talk about the other informational release.
Big announcement, yeah.
Big announcement. That's the access of the Dungeon Masters Guild.
But before we do, you can get into Nerdarchy's Guild, also known as Nerdarchy, the newsletter. The link is in the description below, where you can sign up for weekly updates, tips, and also learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
Back to the show.
Back to the show. So yes, they released two big announcements. You know, the OGL and the DM's Guild, and the DM's Guild does something that nothing else has done before in this industry. So once again, Wizards of the Coast is breaking ground. Which is really interesting. So a lot of you guys are probably familiar with One Bookshelf Publishing and RPG Drive-Through.
Drive-Through RPG.
Or that. Yeah, I always say it backwards.
Dyslexia, you definitely have it. It is real. It is real.
So, Wizards of the Coast has teamed up with them, and they have their own little space there called the Dungeon Masters Guild, the DM's Guild. I think if you use either of those with .com at the end, it will take you to the same place. And what you can do is you can now publish in the Forgotten Realms using the Wizard of the Coast IP. Now there's
now that's separate from the OGL, so that you can actually use those things that we talked about in the previous video that are
off limits.
Off limits. So like if you want to run an adventure with, say, Elminster or whatnot, you get access to that.
Yes. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's canon,
right?
But you get access to it. You can also, all those things that you're not allowed in the OGL, as long as it pertains to Forgotten Realms, you can use it. And by Forgotten Realms, they're including what is the Arabian setting?
Like there's Al-Qadim and Mystica
and Qatar.
Yeah.
So you can all of those count as well. That's fine.
So I find this interesting. This is like they're doing a test, because then as they release other materials for different worlds, if the Forgotten Realms test went well, then they'll keep having fan created content. So this is like the taste test of it and see if it works. Yeah,
and they actually said they're going to use the numbers from the guild to determine the direction of their products as well. So they also said they want to use it.
They're crowdsourcing the hey, we really like this kind of thing. Could you expand further on it? Yeah,
they're using it. They want to use it for that. They want to use it as a way to scout for talent for people they want to hire. They said if even though everything is technically open source in there, so Wizards of the Coast can actually take your information and use it in another product if they wanted to. They said there not looking to do that. If they feel that strongly about it, they said they will seek to purchase it.
Yeah. Now the only difficulty is that because we were discussing off camera the in writing, the way some of it was written as far as the art and the writing and this and that. Unfortunately, the current people that are steering the ship at Wizards of the Coast, that might be the way they feel for Dungeons and Dragons. That does not protect you from the next cadre of people that come in. Yeah. If it's another group of people that are super mercenary and are like, no, we're just going to use this stuff, we have access to it by writing, we legally can do it. So you really need that in writing, because you can't go in good faith of a company. If it's just an individual sole proprietor operating it, fine, but somebody who's not Mike Merles, Chris Perkins, and this and that could come in and not give a shit about anyone's rights because they legally own it. So that's that.
So that could be a thing, but then that would just kill the DM's Guild and no one will write for it.
I mean, yeah,
professionally anyway.
But there's short-sighted moves. I mean, people have done them, and that's that. So you really do need it in writing to protect yourself.
So we don't know if they'll eventually put that in writing enough. One of the other issues is they give you templates that you can use. They give you artwork that you can access. The way things are written, technically. One, you can only use artwork that you own or that's provided within the DM's Guild. And by you own means you either created it or you paid to have it created exclusively for you.
You own the copyright to it. One way or shape or form. You either commissioned it, paid for it, or you did it.
Yeah. But for you guys that may not be familiar with these terms or whatever, that means you can't buy something with re-license rights.
Right.
So someone gives you the right to use it. That's not the same as owning the rights to it.
Right.
So that can't be used. You can't use clip art or
Source.
What's that? Open source art.
Right. Anything that's public domain or this or that. Yeah. Well, I mean, you might be able to use something that's like an Albrecht Dürer drawing from like the 15th century or something like that, or 16th century.
No, not the way it's written.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You have to own the rights to it because you've created or purchased them.
Yeah.
And now, whether I think someone's already getting done for this too, which they'll be penalized with either it being taken away, they could be banned. Who knows what would actually happen? So just to protect yourself. But here's the other problem: once it's released into GM's Guild,
Everybody can use it.
I believe the way it's written, everybody can use it. Now, from different things that I've seen posted, that wasn't their intent. And actually, one bookshelf, a drive-through RPG, actually pointed out to the Watts that this is a problem, and they're working on a solution to fix it. I don't know what that's going to look like.
I mean, yeah, it's having the right verbiage or whatever to make sure that, like, it's kind of crappy if you do pay an artist to do the illustration of the cover of your book or some like internal stuff, or if you were an artist that put the time to do that then like everyone else can use like the fruits of your labors type of thing. Like that's kind of BS. So yeah, I respect that hopefully they find a good solution.
Yeah, so they're working on that. Again, the OGL and the DM's Guild, it almost feels a little rushed the way they put them out. So I don't know what the impetus to that.
Well, I mean, they could have been working on this for months, and they're just like, we're never going to get to this point to the just right.
We need more eyes on it.
I'm willing to believe that it's like, all right, well, we've hit 2016, 5th edition has been out for a while, let's push it forward, and with whatever iteration it's in, you have to look at that sign of the almighty buck once it's out there, and they're going to be getting profit off of it. They can be paid to getting it fixed while it's out there. They can't do it the other way.
Yeah. Well, so let's say that the way the business arrangement works with the DM's Guild is that the author of the work gets 50% of the profits if they put it for sale. You can just give away your creation, but if you're selling it, you get 50%
free. Pay what you want or whatever you want to charge.
Right. Or the other, what I should also say is, so the other 50% is split between one bookshelf and Wizards of the Coast.
Yes.
So for them, it's kind of could be just free revenue source because they're not doing anything to really administer anything, and it does give them some capital to like some money to go back into this business. Like, all right, well, we can tweak it now. We can hire somebody to work on this.
I think it's a really smart move on their part. Yeah. One, because the stuff that we're creating and putting in Forgotten Realms collectively, not Nerd Argue, but all of us, anybody, it's not canon. Like, it doesn't actually happen unless Wizards of the Coast decides that it happens.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like the Star Wars expanding universe.
Yeah, if enough people think it's really cool, then it could happen.
But, honestly, I feel like this move could actually save Dungeons and Dragons from going into extinction. Mm. Like, I don't know how close to that happening that is or not, but you have to understand when Hasbro looks at numbers, what might be awesome numbers for an RPG is like
a joke when you're looking at like Barbie or Transformers.
Yeah,
or whatever.
It drops in the bucket. Yeah. So, I feel like this team on Wizards of the Coast is really looking for innovative ways to do more with less, in order to create a really solid profit center with Dungeons and Dragons and role playing games. So that we can keep enjoying this game, this brand, or so it doesn't get sold off.
Yeah, I mean,
shelved even worse.
As a business, like, you have to have money for the down the road, the next 5-10 years, and if you're living hand to mouth as a major corporate entity, that is not a way to conduct a business, and you won't be around for very long, and that could be the same for D&D. So
I'm not a mind reader, and I cannot see the future. But I feel like this edition, they really are trying to set it up to last, a good 10 years at least.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think they're going for a long run with this one, and the indicators for that is the moves that they're making are pretty slow when they make them. They're not just rushing to put out a bunch of material, a bunch of content.
Right, like the deluge was happening by 3rd and especially by 4th. By 4th, when they're like, we're basically jettisoning this edition, but let's throw as many books out as we possibly can to make the money on the way out.
I think they really thought Like, they were taking it from the approach, if we just put out more products, the company will make more money. And that may not be what was happening.
Dude, there was a certain span of time when they knew that this edition was going away, but they had people already working on stuff.
Well, they're
And
not
like,
going to stop.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
stop. And that being said, people are still playing 4th edition now.
Yeah, some people are. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, there's people
Well,
still
the-
playing
every
AD&D.
edition. You know, if you go on Facebook, you can actually look. There are groups for every single edition
that are active.
that are active, and they're telling stories about, oh, you know, this is what we did last night or last weekend. You know, so like they're still playing it. You know, we've gamed with people that are like, oh yeah, I up until 5th edition I was still playing, you know, 1st edition or 2nd edition, like. And we've spoken to them, so we know that it's out there. We know that that's what's going on.
Sure, it happens, but that's not going to be like your core financial. Like if you're a
no,
business, like
no. What I'm saying is that, you know, there are people that play that they.
There's
stick
no
to
reason
edition.
for them. There's no reason, even though they know 5th edition is coming out. There's no reason for them to stop production cycles that are still going on.
Yeah, but it also had happened in the very en masse sort of way. Like it was funny to see
The
like
same thing happened from 3rd to 4th. The month before the 4th edition Player's Handbook came out, there was a 3rd edition book that was released.
Yeah, there was it was like a 5-to-1 ratio from 3rd to 4th. Like seriously, there was just like torpedoes of 4th edition style content coming out. So I mean,
I don't know. I don't actually know the numbers of what was released and what wasn't.
Yeah,
So-
I'm sure somebody's done the diagram on this. Yeah. Leave it to the internet.
So Dungeon Masters Guild, you know, what are our final thoughts on it?
Right? I honestly, like, I think it's interesting. I think it's a cool idea. I don't think it means anything to us personally because we don't really play. Well, we don't play in Forgotten Realms, and we generally use homebrew settings anyway. I've seen people complain about some of the things we've mentioned, and you know, they're butthurt about losing rights and stuff like that. But that being said, there's an alternative. Like, don't use Wizard of the Coast IP and publish through the OGL.
Yeah. Like if you're trying to play in someone else's sandbox that owns the sandbox and the sand, like you're at the behest of them. Like so, if you want to write Forgotten Realms content, well, guess what? You're in the pocket to someone.
That's a good analogy because after you built your elaborate sandcastle,
it's still
there.
in Forgotten Realms. Yeah. So like my final thought is we're not really like I'm not a big Forgotten Realms fan, Drizzt or whatever. I mean, you know, I like the books were enjoyable, but I'm not gonna go all whole hog and fanboy for that. Now you get me Dark Sun. Well, and also I'd have to ignore some of the stuff that they did for 3rd edition's iteration and essentially 4th. So you get me Dark Sun or Eberron, we will write some stuff in Dark Sun or Eberron. Yeah, like that could definitely happen.
Spelljammer. There's some settings we probably wouldn't mind
playing around in Planescape. Hell yeah, Planescape. But
Ravenloft. So really, there's definitely some interesting things, and you know, it is a fast way to get your thing out, your stuff out there, and you know, 50% is not bad.
Yeah, no, not at all. When you have kind of the support of the most major publisher for that thing,
and let's be honest, if you're trying to get noticed and you're looking to get become a game publisher, and you want the big boy to take notice of your work, if you put together quality material, and you put it in their backyard. Well, that sounds like a really good way.
You know how you become a comic book writer? You write comic book scripts in that comic books world and send it to them. You know, like you write something for, you know, DC or Marvel using their characters and you send it to them and like maybe you get picked.
Yeah.
Or maybe you don't.
So I see a lot of potential for the naysayers. Well, fine, you have other alternatives that they gave you as well. So
you know, you can go with the Dungeon Masters Guild, you can go with the OGL, or you can not bother.
Yeah,
that's it. You got options.
You do have so many options.
So, what do you guys think about the Dungeon Masters Guild? Put your thoughts and feelings down in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, even subscribe.
You can tweet at us over on Twitter.
You can follow us over on Instagram.
So, until next time, stay nerdy.